Education outcomes in the United States have for decades, I suppose, as measured against other countries, have achievement levels against other students in other countries have been disappointing. Post-pandemic, they have been especially disappointing. Mr. Cates first. What role do you see the federal government playing, if any, and what should be the extent now of federal assistance to states in terms of education, K-12?
I think we need to decentralize education and get the federal government out of it, sir. Currently, the U.S. students in reading, math, and English rank 20th, 30th, and 40th in the world. All right, we should be in the top three. That's, this is the greatest country in the world. And the government keeps getting in the way of that. They tell the states, the teachers, the parents how to teach, what to teach, and they just need to get out of the way.
Ms. James.
I feel that the federal government is needed to better maintain our school systems, especially locally where we might not have all the full provisions that are needed and resources. We saw in Little Rock School District where the state took over and we had 9 failing schools. Now, once the state gave it back, we had 22 failing schools. So saying that we don't need the federal to come in and better help with the state, I don't agree with that. My mother was an educator. I'm a daughter of a minister and a small business owner. And my mother told me something very important. When somebody shows you who they are the first time, you need to believe them. And right now we're hearing some very polished answers from a career politician, my opponent, John Bozeman. And right now, I'm not up here to give you pretty words or sell you pretty words. I'm here to make sure you know you have an option and you have a choice on who's going to better represent you, your education, your future, and your family. And when we talk about not having the federal provisions needed for our education and our future, how are we going to advance ourselves with agriculture? How are we going to advance ourselves with military? How are we going to advance ourselves with anything if we don't have a proper education system for our most vulnerable?
We go now to Mr. Bozeman.
Thank you, Steve. Education is right at the very top. I was on the school board for 7 years and very proud to serve in that capacity. There is all kinds of room for the federal government helping out, and they are helping out. Education is primarily a state function, but again, lots of help from the federal government. One of the things I'm very excited about is their help with the vocational programs. Shop class is not like it was when I was in school. Now, teaming with our vocational colleges, you can go to school, at the end of the 11th grade, you can be a phlebotomist and have the certificate. By the time that you graduate from high school, you can be an LPN. By the time the first year after that, you can be a registered nurse and again, make a very, very good wage. This is the key. In order for Arkansas to move forward, we've got to have the workforce that we need. We've got to have a skilled workforce. Those are the jobs that we want, and this is the way to do it.
To Mr. Cates for 30 seconds.
Yes, sir. And I do agree that vocation is a great thing. That's something the states can do. The states have enough money. And again, if we want to look at the effectiveness of a policy, we have to look at the results. The federal government's been involved in education for a long time, and the results speak for themselves, right? Again, 20th, 30th, 40th place in math, reading, and science compared to the rest of the world. So the federal government's been involved, and we see the results. Thank you.
Ms. James.
Policy from the federal government is supposed to be preventative and impactful for all citizens and all constituents. It shouldn't be reactive. And what we're seeing on a state level is a very reactive policy against our actual education system. We need to make sure that we have the federal protections in place so that we do have the correct policies that are going to go us further. Again, I can't keep saying it, but I am going to keep saying it. A 21st century education to compete in the global market is so important and critical for Arkansas, ranked 43 in education.
And to Mr. Bozeman.
Thank you, Steve. I'm a real proponent of the regional concept, and again, the federal government has helped with that. You can't do these things by yourself. What you're seeing is schools going together, counties going together, and it really is make a difference. I agree, we need to have metrics, we need to have outcome, we need to hold people responsible. That's why I like it so much that these programs, you're not just going to class and studying, you're actually working towards a certificate so that once you get through with school, you can make a living wage.